Hey everybody, Andy McLeod here. This is a video response to what is furry to you. Uh, I think that seeing some of the other video responses, Wolfie Dark thing had a lot in common with what I think furry is. One of the sort of good, sort of bad things about the furry fandom is that there's no real way to answer this question because um, you know, the furry fandom contains so many things. It means so much to so many different people that unless you were literally to interview every furry out there, there's no real way to get a grasp for how many different things the fandom can be. To me personally, I got into the furry fandom through Star Fox. So, as the original video poster noted, video games are a large part of what brings people to the furry fandom. Now, um, I did not come in at the newer time that the Star Fox series became popular to a different group of people, which is when most furry Star Fox fans came in around Star Fox Adventures. I'm an old school fan. I've been around Star Fox for a while now. Um, ever since the first game came out for the SNES. And but I've been a furry, only for around a decade. So that really goes to show that I started there and then progressed from that to now. So aside from the large part that Star Fox has, for me in the furry fandom, that also bridges into sort of the role-playing aspect. Um, I don't have a fursuit. I don't know if I'll ever, buy one. I might just for kicks. Uh, it's gone as far as that I would say I would love to attend, something like Anthrocon or the sort. So conventions for me would be a large part of it. I'm sort of, I like to be an entertainer. That's just part of who I am. You know, I make these videos, I do the podcast, I'm in music, I'm in theater, forensics, debate, all kinds of stuff like that. So I really like communication, um, dealing with people, and so that has a lot to do with the furry aspect because I'm no artist. I do enjoy furry art, but that's not a part of who I am, really. I can't express myself through art as well as a lot of other people. Um, as far as writing would be concerned, or furry fiction related literature, um, I would have to say only in a Star Fox sense. I've only recently been working on a big project um, that has to do with Star Fox, and so although there's a definite anthro aspect there, as you would suspect, um, it's not focused on being furry. It's focused on being Star Fox. Just as even though there could be furry things in other universes, for instance, if you look at the anime Bleach, one of the captains is a canine anthro. You but that goes far beyond saying that Bleach is anthro in any way. So the focus is not on the anthro, the focus is on the original franchise. So pretty much everything for me is related through Star Fox, although I have, developed myself into being able to say I'm not just a Star Fox fan, I would consider myself a furry because I enjoy, all types of things furry. I'm a huge old school Disney fan. You know, they've degraded in years, but um, you know, looking back, I really enjoyed more so the cartoons and the things and the books and the movies that were anthro related as opposed to those, that focused around, humans or people. As far as some of the other video responses about more of a spiritual or really earthly aspect, I think I would say I agree to an extent for myself. Um, you know, I'm religious, so to a certain extent, and so it doesn't really have as much of a spiritual meaning to me, just because of my own beliefs, um, and what those entail. But there's definitely that aspect where you identify most with, the animal or the type of creature that you could see yourself as being or almost relating to. It's difficult for those of us to make that stand that have chosen a fox type character as a persona, because obviously it is hugely stereotyped, and it is most likely the largest and obviously picked things in the furry fandom to have as your persona. So it's difficult to make the claim that, that's what you identify yourself with, because that's what everyone says. But I really do think for me that's been the case. I've gone so far as, I've been to, several places, several people that are breeders, um, that you know uh, have foxes, uh, and so I really try and connect on that level as far as a um, animalistic perspective. I really try and connect there with the animal, and so that's another reason that I uh, ally myself with the furry fandom, is because I have a real connection with animals, specific types, of course, but more so than a lot of people. I treat them more um, on a level, or the same sort of playing field as I would treat people. That's not to say that um, I feel like animals are people, but most people see animals as far lesser beings, things that are almost mechanical or completely instinctual in nature, and so therefore don't really have any sort of thought or conscious aspects. Um, but I see them as a lot more than that. I think they're a lot closer to being self-aware and intellectual than we give them credit for in a lot of aspects. And so that's one of the reasons that I've taken to being a furry, is that I really like to connect that gap between humanity and between the animal side of things. Because when it all comes down to it, in the very basics of biology, you know, people are human, or people are animals classified, in cell aspects and basic biology. So uh, we're not all that different, when you come down to it. So that's sort of my very long take on what furry is to me. I'm sure there's some things I missed, but I pretty much have covered the bases. Uh, and I think you'll find that throughout the furry fandom, although there is a lot of diversity, there is a lot of things that we all see differently. One of the greatest aspects of being a furry is uh, not even related to furriness at all. And that, I think, is that furries in general is one of the greatest fandoms that is diverse. Diversity itself unifies the furry fandom. And so even though we come from all sorts of different backgrounds, all sorts of, religions, political views, you know, takes and stereotypes and cultures, we all are unified under the fact that we have something in common with the furry fandom. And we are all very open to each other about how we feel about it, even though we have completely different views on it. And so that is what I really think comes down to what the furry fandom is and what being a furry is to me. Thanks for listening.